The forest behind my house has always been quiet. Too quiet. I'm talking about that heavy, suffocating silence that makes your ears ring. I've lived in this property for 3 years now, and I'm partially deaf in my left ear from a childhood accident, so I've learned to rely on what I can hear. That night, I heard everything. It started on a Tuesday evening in late October. I was sitting on my back porch with my dog Bailey, a German Shepherd who's been with me since she was a puppy. The sun was setting around 6:30, painting the tree line in deep oranges and purples. Bailey's ears perked up suddenly, focused on something in the woods about 50 yards out. I grabbed my binoculars, a habit I developed for bird watching, and scanned the darkness between the trees. Nothing. But Bailey wouldn't stop growling, a low rumble that vibrated through her chest. I brought her inside and locked the door. Probably just a deer, I told myself. But that night, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching the house. I checked the windows 3 times before bed, made sure every lock was secure. My sister called around 9 asking if I wanted to come stay with her in town for the weekend. I told her I was fine. I shouldn't have lied. The next morning, I found footprints in the frost, large brood prints, size 12 at least, leading from the tree line to within 10 feet of my back door. They circled my shed, then disappeared back into the woods. I called the non-emergency police line and an officer came out around noon. He took photos, asked if I'd had any disputes with neighbors. I live 3 miles from the nearest house. He suggested getting security cameras. I ordered them that afternoon, but they wouldn't arrive for 2 days. That night, Wednesday, Bailey refused to go outside. This dog has never been afraid of anything, but she planted herself in the hallway and wouldn't budge. I stepped onto the porch alone with my flashlight around 10 p.m. to do a perimeter check. The beam cut through the darkness, illuminating the familiar shapes of trees and undergrowth. Then I saw it. Deep in the woods, maybe 100 yards out, another flashlight. Someone was standing perfectly still, aiming their light directly at me. My blood turned to ice. I killed my flashlight and rushed inside, locking the door so hard I thought the handle might break. I grabbed my phone and called 911. While I waited, I armed myself with the machete I keep for clearing brush and positioned myself where I could see both the back and front doors. The dispatcher stayed on the line, told me a unit was 15 minutes away. 15 minutes felt like hours. Then my phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "I can see you through the window." I dropped to the floor, crawling away from every window, my heart hammering so hard I could barely breathe. Bailey was barking now, a frantic sound I'd never heard from her before. Another text. "Does your dog always bark like that?" I was shaking, the machete gripped in both hands, pressed against the hallway wall between the living room and bedroom. I heard it then. Shh. Footsteps on my porch. Slow, deliberate. The scrape of boots on wood. The creak of the boards near the door. The door handle jiggled once, twice. Then silence. 30 seconds that stretched into eternity. Then the footsteps moved to the window. I could hear breathing on the other side of the glass, ragged and excited. A shadow moved past the curtain. That's when I heard the sirens. The footsteps turned into running, crashing through the brush toward the tree line. I stayed on the floor until I heard the officers calling my name from the porch. 3 of them swept the property with their weapons drawn and high-powered lights. They found fresh footprints, broken branches where someone had run, and a watch cap caught on a branch. But no person. They dusted for prints on the door handle and window. Found partial prints that didn't match anyone in the system. An officer stayed parked in my driveway until sunrise. I didn't sleep. I sat on the couch with Bailey, both of us watching the windows until light broke through the trees. My sister picked me up the next morning, and I haven't spent a night there alone since. The cameras I installed caught something 2 weeks later while I was gone. A figure standing at the tree line at 3 a.m. just watching the house for 17 minutes before disappearing back into the darkness. The police said without a clear face there was nothing they could do. I'm selling the property. Here's what I learned. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. If you're living in an isolated area, cameras aren't paranoia, they're necessity. And if you ever feel like you're being watched from the woods, don't wait to find out if you're right. Get somewhere safe, somewhere with people and lights and locks. The deep woods can hide anything. And sometimes what hides there is waiting for you to be alone. Stay safe out there. And whatever you do, never ignore the silence.